Welcome, everybody, to another live. Hi. I'm Scott. Guess who we got here today on the show? Kristina Sherk, the Shark Pixel herself, is back.
Hello.
Very glad to have you with us again.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I just saw you in New York. You get around. You were like in New York on the show floor?
Yeah, that place is nutso.
Is that your first time at Photo Plus?
A couple other times, my first time teaching there.
Oh, yeah. So you taught with
Katrina
right?
Eisman, yeah.
Wow, that must have been a wild class.
Especially because the image that I was retouching, I had never seen before. So not only was I teaching for the first time, I was also teaching for the first time on an image I'd never seen.
Wow.
Yeah. So I needed a glass of wine after.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's pretty much what we all did at Photo Plus. Anyway, we're glad to have you here. So I know most of you are already familiar with Kristy, but for those of you who aren't, she is an awesome, awesome retoucher and one of the fastest rising stars in our whole industry. And she is just awesome. That's why she was at Photo Plus. And anyway, we're very happy to have her here. You're taping a class for Kelby 1.
I am.
I bet it's on some form of retouching?
It is. It is on retouching portraits in Lightroom, though.
Ah.
So it's perfect for photographers who
right.
don't necessarily want to go over to Photoshop all the time.
Excellent, excellent. I can't wait to see it myself because I kind of go out of my way not to go to Photoshop. I stay in Lightroom as much as I can. I go in an emergency.
In emergency situations.
In emergency
only.
situations, that's when you jump over. All right, so today we're doing blind portrait retouching critiques. So we have asked our viewers to send in images that they have retouched, portrait images. Now, people sent us all kinds of crazy stuff that was not portraits, and that's okay. We are going to, we got down to just the portraits. So we got the right stuff today. Let's see what else. I'm stalling for the teleprompter to move. It's just not moving. Today's date doesn't help me. There we go. Okay. We are giving away. Whoa. Okay. Oh, it's a drunk teleprompter. It's just gone. It's so far past where I needed to be. Okay, here we go. First, we have some giveaways today. Our giveaways today are a copy of this. I'm moving to the other camera for no apparent reason. This is my book, Professional Retouching Techniques for Photographers. So it's not a book for retouchers, it's a book for photographers. This is it right there. Hi, Juan. All right, there we go. So we're giving away that, and we're going to have a copy of How Do I Do That in Photoshop?
Oh.
Both by my favorite author. We're giving those away today to some lucky son of a gun. All right, that's coming up. Just a couple real quick things. I mentioned PPE. I wanted to thank, I worked too much at Photo Plus. I did a lighting masterclass to start the day. Then I went and did a photo walk. They call them a photo walk.
Yeah.
It's not a walk, it's a class on location. So I did a portrait lighting class on location, sponsored by the great folks at Lexar. So I'm one of Lexar's elite photographers, and they sponsored me to do this thing.
Nice.
We did it on the High Line.
Oh, beautiful.
It was beautiful and wildly crowded, but I had such a great group of photographers. We had so much fun. And then I did 2 presentations on Canon stage.
Yeah, I saw you on that big stage up there with the
full
full house.
Yeah, it was great. Well, people are already there for Canon. They're not like running over to see me. They're like, oh, it's a giant booth, you know. But anyway, I did a travel talk at Canon, and then I did a live shoot over on their live shooting stage. So I had a great fun. Thanks to Lexar and Canon and the folks at Photo Plus for having me there, and thanks to everybody that came out to my classes. All right, we have to say some shout outs here. We have shout outs from all over. Arcadias from the UK, and if I mispronounce your name, it's only because I'm not very good at it. John from the Denmark airport. Oh no, Denver airport. Denver airport. Sorry, I see Den, I think Denmark. It's Denver airport, a very, very large airport. All right, Dion's here from Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada.
Whoa.
Mitch is here, says Shark Pixel in big letters. Oh, yeah, if you're wondering about why is she wearing a shark fin on her head, it is one of the most clever and well recognized. So her company.
Shameless marketing.
Shameless marketing. Hey, it's called, her company is called Shark Pixel. And her name is Kristina Sherk. It all just kind of comes together. All right. And Tomas says hello from Slovakia.
Hey, that's cool.
Hey, Neil's watching all the way from the UK. Hey, Neil, can I tell you something? Everybody's watching for the UK. We have a huge UK audience. I love the UK. I love British people. I love how many we have watching. As long as Dave Clayton, Peter, and Dave, the hybrid boys, are not watching, it's going to be a good show. And hi from Saudi Arabia, from John. So, hey, thanks, everybody. And let's see. OMG, it's live, says Blind Critiques are the best show ever.
Oh, God.
Raging Badger says the topic today are sharks. We're retouching sharks. All right, 30 more seconds of just real quick things, and we're going to get into it. Number one, Photoshop World registration is now open. So Orlando, in April, we opened up Photoshop World registration. It's open. Yay.
Cool.
Number two, so, you know, you guys, I just came back from Italy, and you guys heard me talking about Mimo, who is this wonderful Italian, I always call him the Serge Romoli of Venice. He's the man in Venice as far as like photography goes, and he's a super expert at long exposures. He and Serge are doing a workshop together in Venice, March 8th through 13th. So for information, go to photoserge.com/workshops.
I have always wanted to do long exposures in Venice, no joke.
Seriously?
Yes.
You got to meet Mimo. He's the most awesome. Anyway, they're doing the workshop together, and I can't imagine. Can you imagine Serge and Mimo? I mean, they're just super fun guys and super knowledgeable. So that's coming up.
Venice with all the water.
Oh yeah, and the boats and moving. I know. It's a bomb. Plus, Mimo's got some really cool tricks. I mean, he's not just, doing long exposures. He's got some really great stuff. And he knows everywhere to go in Venice because he lives there. He's lived there for like 10 years. All right. Hey, I'm in Denver on November 14th doing my seminar tour, which I was just a couple of days ago in Sacramento. Thanks to everybody in Sacramento. We had a ball. We had a great turnout. Denver on the 14th, Vegas. You know the last time I taught a seminar in Vegas was? Now, I go to Vegas Photoshop World, but my one-day seminar has to be at least 15 years.
Really?
Because we go to Vegas every year with Photoshop World, so this is the first time I'm going back with just my seminar, probably in 15 years, on the 16th of November. Last, I want you to go check out a blog post. So my wife, Kelby, writes a blog at shotwithmytrustyiphone.com. And so she put up a post. It's not that one. It's that one right there with the little Hawaiian picture. Because sometimes you find yourself doing the last thing you'd ever thought you'd be doing. This is one of my favorite Kelby stories, and she put it on the blog. And it is an awesome story. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a really amazing story, and it's just you got to read it. You'll love it. The feedback from it has been amazing. So
I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, you'll love it. Seriously, it is just amazing. And I was there to witness it. It was really cool. Okay, so one last thing. We're releasing a new class tomorrow. And this is right up kind of your alley. My class tomorrow is removing distracting stuff in Photoshop.
I saw that.
I know. And you know what I did? It's just thing after thing after thing after thing. Like if you want to remove reflections in glasses, or you want to remove telephone wires, or you want to remove spots, specks, dust, whatever the things that you commonly run into. You want to remove a sign in the background. I mean, it's like 36 of them.
Okay, as a retoucher, I can tell you I get inquiries all the time about that specific thing. How do I remove this element? How do I remove like glaring glasses? All of those things you just mentioned, I get calls for it all the time. So I think that that's a very valid class, and I think that it's gonna be great.
Yay, because it was a real pain in the butt to put together. But you know what? Finding like 36 images with stuff that needed to be removed took no time at all.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's coming up next. All right. Today we're doing blind portrait retouching critiques. We had a bunch of people send in images. Now, for those of you who've never seen the Blind Critique show before, we have a basic rule is we're going to tell the truth. Now, by we, I mean Christy. I'm kind of just here as a sidekick, and I'll kick in my 2 cents if it's something Photoshop related or lighting related or whatever. But since Christy's here, we wanted to do the retouching stuff because this is her bread and butter, and this is how she makes her living. So we're going to look at some images, and we've had a wide range of stuff come in. We've had some really good ones, and we've had some ones that I think you're going to really be able to help a lot. And of course, I always tell whoever's
saying it nicely.
Well, I always tell whoever our guest is like, look, it doesn't do us any good to BS anybody. It doesn't do any good to say, hey, you're doing great when you're really not. The idea is this is why we don't ask for anybody's names, because we don't want to embarrass anybody. We want to help people. And honestly, sometimes in photography, we tend to not tell the truth. Like we tell everybody, oh yeah, you're doing good. Oh, this is great. That helps nobody, unless they're really doing well. So, we talked about it before and had to just, hey, don't forget, because you've done this before with us. This is not your first
love
time.
this. I
This is
love this
not your
stuff.
first time on the grid. Hey, speaking of that, Alan Hess just chimed in and said, and I have to agree with him, Kristina Sherk is one of the nicest people ever. He said it was great to meet her at Las Vegas this year at Photoshop World, and her mermaid photos are amazing. Your mermaid photos are amazing. So besides the retouching stuff, you do like mermaid photography. It's hard to explain.
Exactly. I know. The weird just gets weirder, right?
Yeah, but it's cool. So you actually like have these tails.
Yeah, so there are 35 to 40 pound full silicone mermaid tails, and I have models kind of put them on sometimes, and then hopefully they're scuba or free dive certified, and then they'll go down and pose around
If not,
in the
they
water.
drown. It's just very bad.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, right? When I put a 40-pound weight on somebody and just go, all right, dive down and look pretty, right? And yeah, so, there's a lot of retouching that's involved in those photos. And
Yes. Now, many of you may not know this, but I actually did this. I was one of her models, and I put on the, no, Jen, is that not right? Jen's like, I don't judge.
I'm like writing
All right.
notes, making that happen in Photoshop.
No,
That's my next class.
not making that happen. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at our first set here. Actually, I will tell you, this is one of the best ones of the day. I think personally, I really like this one. Let's go take a look. So we have 3 shots, and the photography is very good, so that helps. All right, here we go. This is number 1, number 2, and number 3. So
And these are all from the same viewer?
these are all from the same viewer. Yep. And I think this one's particularly good. I like the pose, and the black and white seems to be very, but that's not what this class, this is not what this is about. This is actually about the retouching. So let's zoom in so we can see
Yeah,
the
let's zoom
retouching a
in.
little. Now, by the way, I do want to tell you, a lot of people did not send large images. A lot of people, for whatever reason, it's very tough to judge retouching on a thumbnail size image. We were lucky here, that's 100% right there, so we can.
Yeah, the gift of a good retoucher, right, is no sign at all,
Right,
right?
you don't
So only getting the afters when we're doing this stuff, and if the retouching is really, really good, then we might not even be able to tell, right? And so, yeah, getting that before and after is always really, really awesome. I definitely think that this is a really, really good start. You can definitely see skin texture. You can see some skin texture in the skin. And that's good. That's always kind of the first thing that I look for as a retoucher, is making sure that skin still looks natural. You can see it kind of over under that shadowed area of the left eye. Can you see that in there?
Right there, yeah.
Yeah. So if we zoom out just a little bit, I wasn't sure. I think it was Greg Gibson who told me this, but he would often, when retouching his photos, he's a wedding photographer, Pulitzer Prize winning wedding photographer out of DC. He would turn his photos upside down, close his eyes, and then open his eyes really quickly, and then look at the first thing that his eyes went to. And so that was the way that he kind of figured out where that eye was being pulled to and the reason why he inverted the shot upside down was so that he didn't have any preconceived notions of what a face looks like, because a lot of times you'll subliminally look for a face. So by turning it upside down, you lose all of that. Now, when I look at this image, if we zoom out just a little bit more, the hot spot for me is not necessarily her face where we should be looking, but it's the 2 parts of the sweater right there on the hands. So and this is 90% of the way there. I think that this is a gorgeous shot. I think it's beautifully toned. The one thing I would do is just tone down that sweater, and then all of a sudden that face and that skin and that beautiful face is going to immediately pop out in the image, and then you're immediately going to look towards the right place.
All right, there I darkened it up a bit.
Yeah, see?
So you can see the difference here.
And maybe a graduated.
That was really bright.
Maybe a graduated filter just up from the bottom.
All right, let's do that instead. So we're going to use the graduated filter. We're going to darken the exposure, and then just pull it up.
Yeah, even that, just that little bit of that touch of guiding the light or guiding the viewer's eye is really going to make this image immediately pop out. And of course, I'm nitpicking here, right? We said this was a beautiful job to begin with, but just you can see how kind of immediately, once you do that, your eyes going to a different part of the image.
Yeah.
And that's a job of the photographer. Not only are you shaping light in camera, right? But you also have to kind of take that concept over towards your Photoshop and your retouching as well. Shaping that light, making sure that that light is guiding that viewer's eye to exactly where you want the viewer to look.
Can I tell you, this is not a retouching thing, but can I tell you, look how nice. I think this makes a really compelling close-up.
I agree.
Like, I think as a close-up, now I'm not too sure that's exactly the right cropping, but her expression is so good that I think just, it might be a second crop, like not to throw away the first one, but that wide like that and in tight, it's a very compelling portrait.
You know what else I love is that high contrast that he or she has applied to the eye area of this model. It just totally pulls you in, right? Once we got rid of all that detail of that sweater, now all of a sudden our eyes are immediately going towards the subject's eyes, right?
Yeah.
And totally connecting with her. So, bravo! I like your suggestion there. All right, this is a good shot. Yeah, let's zoom in a little bit.
There's 100%.
Again, all right, I'm seeing pores, I'm seeing skin texture.
What does it look like, frequency separation, or do they use a plug-in or something? What do you think?
That's why I would love to see the before, not gonna lie. There are a lot of different things that it could be. It could be frequency separation, but it gives a little bit of a softer appearance than frequency separation on its own would.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've done something where they have isolated and protected that skin texture and then applied it back on at the top.
Yeah.
There is one slight hair that's a little bit, taken my...
Would you just take that out altogether?
I would. Yeah, and you know what's really good for that is that new spot healing brush tool, especially if you use content aware, and that would actually probably do a pretty good job of getting that whole hair even through the, I'm not going to say this right,
Bokeh?
bokeh.
I don't know if it's right, bokeh's right either, because people argue both ways. That's not the best. Sometimes when it picks this arbitrary spot, it picks a really bad arbitrary spot.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, the healing brush or spot removal tool. It's not a healing brush. The spot removal tool in Photoshop and Lightroom and Camera Raw.
There we go. That looks better.
It's getting there. Is not nearly as good as the one in Photoshop. Just not even close. But anyway, yeah, you get rid of that. All right, and lastly, this one right here.
I like that lighting.
I like the highlights, right?
Yeah, really nice
Nice one.
shaping of the light, but that's more photography related, not necessarily the retouching. Let's go into 100%. Let's see what we got.
Let's go. Let's see what we got. Now, don't get excited about this 100% because a lot of them we're not going to be able to get there. So.
Well, I definitely like it, and as I'll say again, you are seeing skin texture, so that's rule cardinal sin, right? Not to break, is not to smooth skin without protecting the skin texture and putting it back on top.
So can I ask you a question though, Christy? Because a lot of times I'll do this. I'll have an image in at 100% and I can see it clearly. But when you back off and get it to a size that's going to be on the web, like you wouldn't really put somebody's face this close, this big on the web page, unless it was your portfolio. So what are you going to really see on the web? This. Exactly. It's so hard to see if there is any skin texture on an image that size. And so it's a weird thing. It's just... Yeah,
that's a very valid point.
We can't see it right there. I have to take my glasses off. Hey, gotta take my glasses off and look. But I really can't tell if there's any skin texture there or not. When you get to 100%, there's a load of skin. I just did something horrible. I meant to use the grabber hand. Poor woman. There we go. You see a load of, and I'll zoom it in because those of you watching on a small screen, there is skin texture here galore, right? But if you get this back out to the size that you would actually see it on the internet.
And that's the thing, right? You have to kind of take the image and figure out, and this is relevant for all photography. You have to take the image and figure out how it's going to be seen and how it's going to be viewed. Once you know that, and this is something that I always ask any of my clients if I'm ever retouching an image for, is this for web? Is this for a billboard? Because you're going to retouch them completely differently if it's for a small image on the web or if it's for a billboard, right?
No, of course.
And so it's incredibly important important. So sometimes you could do a couple different versions. Like for me, I'm going to do a print version, which I'm going to apply Adobe 1998 to, which is a color profile, which is a little bit larger.
Yeah.
But for the web, I'm going to save a version out that has an sRGB color
right.
space. So that's another example of really thinking about how your image is going to be viewed. And if it is for web, maybe thinking about even going a little bit further with that skin texture only for the web version, maybe not for the print version per se.
Yeah. So overall, what would you have to say for our photography here? Pretty good, right?
I do think so.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Well done. All right, good. We're off to a great start. I think things will take a turn, but we're off to a very good start. Couple of things. Corey Kerr is asking, what is a frequency separation?
Okay, so frequency separation is a concept for retouching mostly skin, but to be quite honest, it really works for anything. And what it does is it divides the color and the tone of the skin or whatever it is from the texture of that item per se. And so what you're able to do is you're able to work on just the color variations without really damaging the skin texture on the layer on top of it. So I do have a class on Kelby One. This is a perfect chance to go in and plug my class.
What luck.
I do have a class on skin retouching. So if you're interested in frequency separation and you're interested in learning more about that, maybe check out that an entire hour plus of dodge and burn and frequency separation and all those good things.
People love that class because it's number one, it's just you're teaching the techniques that are hot right now. Frequency separation is like the big skin technique. Not the only skin technique, because dodging and burning, of course, is very important and it takes a little more patience.
Yes, it
I think
does.
that's what people like. Frequency separation, you can make an action for it and it's very quick. Dodging and burning, it's not so quick. But do you think that's the best? Like, if you can really do dodging and burning, do you think that's kind of the best, isn't it?
I think so, because you're able to just make it look so much more natural when you're just doing dodge and burn. But you're right, that is the super, super high end kind of spend 6 hours retouching an image.
Right.
That's what I get from my my advertising clients, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of work that I'm putting in.
That's your cover of the magazine kind of retouching. But I just want to mention two things. Number one is dodging and burning is not what you're thinking of, like doing highlights and shadows and stuff. It's kind of like that, but on a pixel by pixel scale. And so
at 600%. Right?
Yeah, it takes the technique is I wouldn't say it's easy because it takes a little getting used to, but it takes a tremendous amount of patience and attention to detail. It's not for everybody. That's why God bless high-end retouchers who I have the patience of a hamster. So I'm like, I can't do it. I mean, I've tried it and I'm just like, you know what? I need to. Now, Paul Payton says frequency separation is the new way you're going to do retouching as soon as you find out what it is. So frequency separation is probably the closest thing to the real thing, which is the dodging and burning on a pixel by pixel basis.
Yeah, and
it's an 18th of the time.
Yes.
A 32nd of the time.
Yeah, it is. And it's also, but I think what a lot of people kind of forget about the dodge and burn technique is the fact that you have to understand the why of dodge and burn first, and then you can apply it and really, really not activate it, that's the wrong word, but you can really take your images to the next level if you really understand and learn the concepts behind why we dodge and burn. And so that's something I touch on in the class, and it's also something I'm touching on at the future Photoshop World.
Dun, dun, dun. That's right. You're at Photoshop World in April again?
Yes.
So she was just at Photoshop World in Vegas, and everybody was blown away. And so, of course, you've got to come to Orlando next. Hey, just a couple things. Fran Hughes is late, and she apologized. And I think you should. I think you owe us an apology, Fran.
Hi, Fran.
We start at 10 p.m. sharp in London. We expect you to be prompt. British people are very prompt, and we're very disappointed, Fran. But she says hi to us anyway, and she says Christy's classes are awesome. Everyone should check them out. Totally agreed. OMG Alive says, oh, she's wearing the shark thing. I thought it was a unicorn before.
Oh, yeah. You have to look at me when I'm wearing it from the side. Otherwise, it just doesn't.
It's a side thing. All right, we're going to look at some more images. I think we're going to take a break. We'll take a short break. But before we do, I just want to mention really quickly, we have all kinds of greetings from around the world here. Stefan from the Netherlands says, good evening. Mikhail? I'm going to say that. Could be from Sweden. Setar from Turkey. Everybody's watching. It's the international night. Stephanie asks, what states are you coming to with your seminar? All of them, Stephanie, unless you live in Idaho or South or North Dakota. Gretchen says, Photoshop World is the best investment for my business. Yay!
Hey,
Justin says, hi, Scott and Kristina from Ohio. Ohio. That sounds so regular now, doesn't it? Justin from Ohio. Come on, you're surrounded by Turkey, Sweden, and the Netherlands. Pick it up. Move. And then Eric, high five to the shark. All right, we're going to take a short break. We got a whole bunch of images to look at, and we're promised not to spend as long as we did on this first one. But we're all queued up for the next one. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with the jib move to take us out. Wow, there it is. Look at that, right on cue. Juan's on it.
Hi folks, Scott Kelby here, and you gotta watch my brand new class on Kelby 1. It's called How to Remove Distracting Stuff in Photoshop. You know, all that stuff that kills your shots. Bright spots in the background, stuff creeping in from the side, power lines, telephone poles, all this terrible stuff that ruins everything from florals to portraits to landscapes to travel shots, all the stuff that's working against you and taking the focus off what you want your image to be. I cover it all. I got a ton of it, but it's not just a course. It's also, I put together all of these projects. So after you've watched the course, you can go back and go right to the project you want, learn exactly how to fix the distracting thing. Boom, you're done like that. Plus you get all the practice files so you can follow right along, and you're gonna have some really challenging, really fun stuff, but there's nothing in this class you can't do. You're gonna be able to rock it. Go watch my brand new class, How to Remove Distracting Stuff, right here exclusively at Kelby 1.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Biederman, and in this video, Night Photography, it is my hope to inspire you to capture as well as create better images once the sun goes down. I'm going to go over all the tools that you'll need, as well as share a ton of techniques that'll keep you more proficient in the field. We'll also experience a variety of nocturnal scenarios, from the cityscapes to the stars, and I'm going to lay a solid foundation of lessons that'll keep you clicking well into the night.
Kristy from Shark Pixel here, and I am so excited to talk to you about my new upcoming class. It's all about retouching hair. You're gonna learn how to change color, you're gonna learn how to extract from the background, how to take care of flyaways, and at the end of the class, we're gonna get super advanced and start creating our own custom hairbrushes so that you'll never pull out your own hair again next time you have hair to retouch in Photoshop. So check it out only on kelby1.com.
No kidding. Hey, we are back. Scott Kelby here with Kristina Sherk, retouching. We're doing blind critiques of retouching. Let's see, we got a bunch of, everybody's commenting today. So Corey's going to go look at your class. He's going to look at your class on frequency separation.
Yes,
but,
check it out.
Don Jackson said something I've heard a bunch of times. I know you've heard it. You mentioned it. You've heard it so many times. Don Jackson says, I've probably watched your retouching class 10 times. It is packed with so much valuable information. So Don says, thank you very much, Kristy. Yay. So
That means so much to me.
MNSSHP says, I have a Photoshop World question. I've never been, but how do people decide on what classes to attend?
You go to my classes or I'll be upset.
That's pretty much, go to Kristy's classes. And they said, why is it a business investment? Didn't get that. So if you make money, if you make your living with photography, or if you're one of those folks, and there's a lot of them out there that just, they want to make enough money to pay for their gear, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is the dream for many of us, is like, if I can sell enough prints in a year or do, because there's a lot of people that are not going to do 52 weddings, but they'll do one every 3 months or something, you know? So I think for those people, there are business classes. I think it also pays off if you're delivering a better product. If you go to Kristy's classes and you learn how to make your retouching look more realistic and all. It makes your finished product better. If you learn to be faster in Photoshop or faster in Lightroom,
that alone.
or lighting, we have whole tracks on lighting, whole tracks on Lightroom. So if you get faster and better and more efficient, it puts money in your pocket.
Yes.
Now, if you're a hobbyist, you're still going to love it. It's not going to be a business decision. You're going just because you want to get better at photography and Photoshop and Lightroom and lighting and all the different stuff that we cover. So there's over 100 classes. So how do people decide?
I wish I could be at all of them, though. And even I learn something at Photoshop
Oh,
World.
yeah.
Every time. I'm like, when I'm not teaching, I'm in every other class because there's so much stuff that I'm learning, which is really exciting as well. Even from me being an educator, like I still want to learn. I want to still learn new techniques. And if I can walk away with one new thing, you know, that's worth the value for me.
Yeah, I always say that if I sit in a class and I learn one thing, because you know what it is? There's so much information out there. Learning one good, solid thing is hard
Yeah.
to do. If I come out of a class and I've learned one thing, I'm thrilled. Now, I always tell people, go to the classes of the things that you're interested most. So I don't know what your background is, but let's say that you love landscape and you love portraits. You know, obviously go to the landscape classes, go to the portrait classes, but always pick something that you have a tiny bit of interest in. You know, like if you like aviation photography or you like night photography or something, or light painting, something you've never tried before.
Absolutely.
It can open up a whole new can of worms and something that you love because you're going to learn in each class is an hour and you're going to learn enough in that hour to go out and do it. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Spricer said Kelby one better be under the Christmas tree this year. I truly hope it is. All right, we got to get back to work. Let's take a look at our next one. Here we go. We have 3 shots here.
All right.
Here's one. Now, these are, you might want to look on that screen over there because these are kind of a little pixely. This person sent in very small images, so getting to like a true 100% is not going to happen. But if we look at it further away, it does help a little bit. But these are our 3, and it's I know it's tough to make a call on these because they are, I can tell you, as small as this one is, I don't know about the retouching, but her face has got a lot of. It almost looks like
like a sunburn.
like a sunburn or a what's the other word I'm looking for? Yeah, like a allergic reaction. That's what I was looking for. An allergic reaction.
I see it too. I think maybe it was hot that day. I'm not necessarily sure, but going in and isolating that face skin tone and maybe taking some of the reds out of that face skin tone is going to be a really, really good place to start, especially when, you know, I always try and look and make sure that the skin on my model's face matches the skin on her décolletage and on her shoulders and on her arms as well.
Did you say décolletage?
Vocab
That's my
word.
favorite new word of 2016.
I mentioned it last time,
I think you're the
too.
one that taught me the word décolletage.
But
I'm
I pronounced it
what's,
wrong."
What's one of them décolletages right there? I got one on my truck. And she's like, no, it's not that.
Décolletage on your truck.
Well, I
That'd be
didn't know what
great.
it was. I thought it was like something you did to keep deer from hitting your truck. Anyway, but it's so
Yeah,
you
so
wanted
it's
to
this-
match her
it's-
décolletage.
Yeah, so the décolletage is, you know, right underneath the neck, kind of the chest area. That's what I'm kind of talking about, which can sometimes be a little bit red, but on this image specifically, it looks like the roles are reversed. It looks like the skin on the face is a little bit more red than the rest.
Yeah. How about the eyes?
Yeah, so I think so we are zoomed in at 200% here, and it is starting to get a little bit pixelated.
Well, let me zoom to you 100 and you can see that's what it looks like.
I would have to say I think the eyes are a little bit overdone.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Now, this could be, what I'd love to see are bringing out those catch lights a little bit more and then just doing an overall brighten. You don't have to necessarily brighten the eye whites and then really go into those irises and bump up that color to 200, 300%. So what I would do in this situation is just focus on those highlights, which are really going to bring attention to the eye, and then just brighten up the whole orbital sockets, you know, to just make them look a little bit softer, not so contrasty and not so dark, because when it's super contrasty, super dark like that, you tend to look more at the eye whites than you do the iris, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so bright. It's kind of
so
the only
bright.
thing we're looking at.
You know what else too? If you see this happening, like if you see your skin red like that when you're shooting, every photographer should have Benadryl with them. A little bit of Benadryl goes a long way. Jen's like, what? It's for allergic reactions. Sorry. Okay. It was a joke, and it certainly was a good one. If you have to explain it to your crew.
I think that's a photo tip Friday. I think digital
photo tip
Benadryl.
Friday.
That's
Would
what I'm
that
going
be
to do.
funny? Just to pull out a Benadryl. If they notice their skin's a little red, like it looks like they're having an allergic reaction, use Benadryl.
Photo tip Friday, done.
Photo tip Friday. Boom. Blow it up. All right. So this is another one.
So this is an example where I really like the retouching on the eyes because they are doing that. They're taking that catch light, they're accentuating that catch
It's
light.
not white, like solid
and
white
it's
like the
not
other one.
super, super bright on those eye whites. That's something that really just grinds my gears. The neon white eye whites is actually doing you a serious disservice when you're retouching eyes. And I talk about that in my skin class because there's a section on dodging and burning of eyes and features as well, because you can also dodge and burn features.
Yeah.
Can we go back to that one?
Oh,
I just
yeah,
want
absolutely. I'm sorry.
one comment on the skin. Even though I know we're up at 200%, I'm not seeing any detail in the skin. While I love the butterfly lighting that was applied, I would really love to see a little bit less smoothing and a little bit more dodging and burning to really protect that skin texture. I think everybody should have to do a cartwheel every time I say protect skin texture.
Protect the skin texture.
So I think that there may be a little bit more skin texture in this one because you can see those smile lines, right? They're nice and they're natural, and you can see them even though we are in at 200%. I think that this, if I were to get my hands on seeing the high resolution version, I would hope to see a little bit more skin texture, a little bit more natural skin than the one before.
All right, we had a question from Spryster. How do you even out skin tones on a newborn? Because newborns have a lot of patchy skin, and they do have patchy red space stuff.
Yeah. So I would suggest using the hue saturation sliders, because what you can do with hue and saturation is you can basically use your eyedropper tool to select the areas of the color that you want to change and also select the areas that you do not want to change. And then by doing that, you could select the areas that are red, that your patches of red, and you could say, don't change the patches that are more yellow.
Right.
And then because you've got that protected, because you're just adjusting some of it, then you can go in and change those values, tweak it a little bit to the left, no, to the right, I think will make it a little bit more yellow.
To the left, to the left, to the... Sorry. All right, so what would our advice be to this photographer? Just back off a little bit? I mean, to this retoucher?
Yeah. The closest skin version, or the closest skin example that I like is that third one with the red umbrella.
Right.
So I'm wondering if these were shot in chronological order. And so they are getting a little bit better as the retouching goes on. That's something I would look up in the metadata, if I really got into
All right,
it.
here's a quickie. We have reasonable size images, which is good. Cute kid. Cute.
All right, great.
Cute. All right.
Well, first off, I can say that I love the natural skin. I think that it's within its realm, especially when you're dealing with teenagers. They don't, unless they're having some hormonal issues or anything like that, teenagers' skin, it's not like they've got a lot of wrinkles, right?
Right.
So there isn't really that much work that needs to be done. So I really love the natural job that they did on the skin here. And they avoided these areas of the skin smoothing, right? The underside of the nose, the smile lines, and that kind of thing. There's one distracting line right there on the...
Oh, this little extra line there?
Yeah, just right there that I would probably get rid of just because it's just pulling your eye away just slightly.
Speaking of the eyes, how you like the retouching in the eyes? Pretty good.
I think it's very nice and natural. And I don't think that you should go overboard with teenagers at all, because then you're going to get a call from the parents, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, this is a cutie.
He's got good eyes.
Yeah.
And the whites aren't too white or anything?
No, they aren't. And when the whites aren't too white, you immediately look at their iris, which is what you want to do.
He looks like a nice little kid.
Yeah. All right, so the color, so is it, would you say that that's a little bit dark?
It looks underexposed, just
Yeah.
straight up, especially her face. I don't think like the exposure's too bad, because you want the face to be brighter. A lot of times, now this is total cheating, but a lot of times I'll go in here at the very end and just put a half a stop on the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, immediately that kind of just made her face pop out.
Maybe a half a stop. We're going to skip my upgrade reminder there. Thank you. Thank you very much there. Let me go back to camera raw, wherever I was. If I can find a way to get back to camera raw. Oh, we can't. That's nice. Oh, here we go. And a full half a stop might be a little much, maybe 40% or something like that. But I think that really, let's see if I can show you. Well, I really can't show you before and after, can I? Unless I go here. Yeah, that helped. You know, it helped the eyes. The eyes need some work though, right? Mm-hmm. They're a little dark and murky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think brightening up those areas, maybe doing like a radial filter on each one of those eyes just to bring some light into those orbital sockets, and then doing the half stop, or maybe
orbital sockets.
I know. Here we go.
Can I use that with décolletage?
Yes, you can. I was
Thank
supposed
you.
to be a doctor in another life, I think. So
Really?
I've got
Because you
all
use
these.
like really fancy words, like.
Well, you know.
All
Okay,
right.
here's the vocab word for today.
Oh.
Do you know what the eye whites are actually called?
Egg whites?
No.
No?
They're called the sclera.
Sclera?
Sclera. Sclara, I think, and somebody will now come in and
Sclera.
correct me, but yeah. So those are the.
That's a good one.
The eye white areas.
All right, can we talk about this radial filter technique you're doing here?
Sure.
So you're going to, so the radial filter allows you to apply to affect what's inside the eye or what's outside the eye.
Well,
so we can, if we hit invert or inside, then it does. Can I tell you something? This has nothing to do with anything. This is the exact same filter as that's in Lightroom. Did you notice that in Camera Raw, it's called inside and outside, which is, I think, appropriate.
Yes, I do.
Did you know that in Lightroom, the exact same filter, everything's the same, they get down here and they just call it invert mask?
Yeah.
What's with that?
I don't know. I think that in Lightroom it would probably say inside outside,
Right.
and then in Photoshop it would probably say invert mask.
Right, I know, it's weird. Okay.
But I'd rather they both be the same,
All
and
right.
they both be.
So you're
inside,
talking
outside.
about putting an oval here over the eye. Is this what you're talking about? I'm not, I don't want to, I'm just asking you.
Yeah, but I would go much larger and
All
then
right.
much softer and add like a super feather.
Super feather, like 100%?
Super feather.
Super feather.
Yeah. And then so that you're just adding like a little bit of fill. So
All right.
even just like what you've already done, if you just, I don't know, can you
Yeah,
hit
that's
hide?
up like a little, yeah, I can, oh, well, first we can hide the pins. Let's hide the pins. Where's the, I love the way both are different. There's not a little button to hide the pin. So I have to remember what the hide the pins thing is. Oh, it's overlay. There it is. Okay. All right. So let's
so
see.
right off the bat there, look at the two eyes and you
Yeah,
can
you're
see the
seeing
difference.
that's not even a half a stop.
And that's all you need, really.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Now we want to copy that over. We'll put overlay back on, and we'll copy it over to the other eye.
And this is something that I'm teaching in my upcoming class.
Apparently, copying doesn't really work.
Well, guess
We'll
what?
just,
It does in Lightroom.
There we go, duplicate. Yeah,
There we
there we go, duplicate. Well, we're gonna go with that. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, this one on this side looks like it could be a tad brighter, right?
I think so.
All right, maybe we go up to this. No, just kidding. Hold on, just a little more there. There, just kind of balance out with the other one there. So this one had to go to 130 to almost match the other eye.
Interesting.
So, and we can look at a before and after here. Hold on, let me hide our overlays. Wait a minute. Oh, I did a half on her whole face before we did the eyes. Okay, yeah.
So we probably don't have to go as far on the eyes, but that's the concept, right?
Okay,
just
yeah.
Kind of adding in just a little bit of fill to just get that light in there and illuminate those
All right,
eyes.
there we go. Here we go. Let's take a look at what we have here. 1. I don't know if we'll be able to go much further in on these. 2. And 3. Let me see if I can go any larger. I'm not sure if we can. We're at, oh no, we can go into 100. Hey, hey, hey.
You see all your secrets in at 100%.
There's 100. Uh-oh.
So right off the bat, I would probably suggest toning down the sharpening a little bit.
Yeah, that was the very first thing that it looks massively over sharpened.
Now, it's one thing to over sharpen just the skin, because sometimes you want that, but it looks like those eyelashes are really, really sharpened. And again, you know, maybe this was for the web and we're ending up looking at it at 100%,
Right.
which probably was never intended, but, you know, it is retouching, so we are going to look at it at 100%. It's tough cookies, right? So I'm seeing a bunch of sharpening, and also right along this ear here, you can kind of see an outline of over sharpening,
Yeah.
right, against the background.
Yeah, you're actually seeing that halo that happens.
Right.
Yeah, that black
here.
line. Yeah, that's
So
like.
that looks like they didn't sharpen the background as much, but they did, you know, sharpen it a fair amount.
Yeah. All right, so that's hyper sharpened. Outside of that, you know what it is? This is all kind of mucked up, and that was with an M. It's, you know what I mean? It's all kind of running together.
Well,
like it's so sharp.
Yeah, and it's picking up every little minuscule detail.
Yeah.
And so when you go in and when you over sharpen, you're not only over sharpening the good things, you're over sharpening the mistakes if you haven't gotten rid of them first.
You know where you can really see the over sharpening? Look at right above her lip.
Yep,
See
that's that
white,
halo.
see that white line? That's the halo.
You see it right along her chin here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a halo here and there's a halo there.
Now-
Here a halo, there a halo, everywhere a halo, halo.
But the skin, although it does look over sharpened when we're way zoomed out, it looks over smoothed. So I think that there's just been a little bit of over processing done to this file on both the over smoothing and the over sharpening. So just toning it back a little bit. Now, you know, I am a proponent of sharpening for skin only,
Right.
but not necessarily going way overboard on the sharpening for the rest of the image, right?
Yeah,
Because
also, yeah.
your eye is immediately going to go to the thing that's most sharp and most contrasty in a photograph. And so just keep that in mind, right, when you're sharpening the entire thing and she's got a lot of contrasty lace on, like that last shot.
Let's see, where this is not quite 100%. There's 100%.
Cool. Well, I don't think there's as much sharpening
No.
as the other one.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that this is
Whoa, sorry, wrong way.
This is a newer retouch than the original one we looked at. But the skin for this one, it just does seem a little bit too smooth. I'm not seeing
Yeah.
as much. I'm not seeing as much skin detail and texture as
It
I would
seems
like.
kind of chunky. What's the word I'm looking for? Waxy.
Yeah, so I'm totally grasping at straws here, and I may not know what I'm talking about, but it looks like a Gaussian blur on the skin.
Could be.
And it doesn't necessarily seem like, because it looks like this person didn't separate the skin texture from the skin tone, what they felt like was that they were limited in how far they could take the blur because they didn't want to get rid of the skin texture. Well, when you separate the two, what's really nice is that you can go further with the blur and get rid of blotchy skin because you're not concerned about losing too much of the texture because you've already isolated it, put it aside, and then you handle that later in its own way. So that's the really, really nice thing about taking and dealing with the two aspects of the skin separately.
Right.
Right?
All right, we got to take one look at one more here, and this is I think it's the same person as maybe the third shot, maybe not. I don't know. No. Whoops! I hit the wrong button. Sorry. And there's 100 right there. That was unfortunate. Sorry. Here we go.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I see the telltale signs. Too
Yeah,
much-
so it does. Definitely here you're seeing that haloing
Halo.
effect, which I think that there are, if I remember correctly, there are some tools in, is it the new HDR filter in Lightroom that allows you to take care of ghosting?
But it's ghosting from movement. I don't think that's going to help.
Okay.
Here, what you can do is this. In the sharpening panel of either Camera Raw or Lightroom, there is a slider called Detail. And the best way I can describe this slider is this is the halo avoidance slider.
Oh, well, that's good.
This allows you to apply more sharpening without having the halos. Now, if you raise this, believe it or not, it turns off the protection. And when you get over to 100, it's completely off, and you're basically at the same situation as unsharp mask. The same amount of sharpening with this set at 25, I don't think would produce those halos.
Interesting.
So if you really like a really sharp, snappy picture, you need to be doing your sharpening here instead of inside of like unsharp
fabulous
mask.
tip.
Detail.
Fabulous tip.
Detail. It's an awesome.
It's what's for dinner.
It's what's for dinner. All right.
Detail.
So looks like their big thing is perhaps just overdoing a little of everything. So the sharpening certainly, but
Yeah, I'm not seeing any real telltale signs of bad retouching. It just
Right.
seems like over retouching. So it seems like all the techniques are good. Just kind of dialing it back a little bit is going to help a little bit more, I think.
all right. Let's take a look at another one. Here we go. Well, I'm not able to open these on. Here we go. Oh yeah, we're able to open it in Photoshop. There's one. I'm going to zoom back here to bridge and open up these other two. Sorry, I missed those. Here we go. Number 2 is here. I like the hair.
I know. I like the hair.
Number 3.
Do the catch lights that are a little bit lower and the shadow behind her hair there, does that, what do you think about that?
Here's what's killing me. It's not a retouching thing, but you have a beautiful natural light window over there, and you shot this with a flash. And believe me, I love flash. I reach for my flash every time. But I tell you what, it's like if you have a hammer, you have to use it every time, even if it doesn't need to be, hammered. This is a very unattractive shadow.
Exactly. It's lit from below.
And the brightest thing in the photo is this. Yeah, and it's underlit, which is bad.
You can always tell underlighting because there's a shadow right there on those two.
Yeah, you don't like these anyway.
I don't like those.
You don't like those, so you have this beautiful window with natural light. You could have made a great photo. Unfortunately, the flash thing. This looks like you went to Home Depot, bought like a $4.99 flashlight, and aimed it from over there at a low angle.
I love what I call soft directional light.
Yeah,
right.
This is not soft. This is harsh, and
I call that villain lighting.
yeah, villain lighting. That's a great name for it, by the way.
But you know what? She's actually quite beautiful and pulls off the villain lighting as well as anyone probably would.
Yeah.
On me, that would look atrocious. So.
But like if I want to light a football player, I light them from below.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing an athlete, I want to make them look aggressive.
Yes.
I'll put a lot of light below. If I'm
Right.
doing a Halloween portrait, I light it from below. Otherwise,
Any Disney
villain. Yeah.
is going to be lit like right from below, that kind of thing. So
All right. How's the skin and the eyes and stuff look?
I would get rid of the blemish, right
there.
Right there, yeah. And then just softening up those lines a little bit right under the eyes and just making that, just brightening up just those two lines a little bit using Dodge and Burn if you want. It doesn't necessarily look like a lot of skin work has been done per se,
All right.
which can be a
what
good
about
thing.
this white tip on the end of her nose? Someone's asking.
Yeah.
Do
When-
you retouch it or do you?
I would minimize it. I would
Yes.
soften it, but not get rid of it completely.
Right. Because if you get rid of it completely, you've lost a highlight. What the problem is it looks shiny.
Yes. So you still want to create that form, that three-dimensional illusion, because of course we are on a two-dimensional plane, right? But by softening it, it's not going to necessarily pull the viewer's eye away from her eyes and what you're trying to connect with, but it is going to do a much better job of making it a little bit less noticeable. The same with the spot in between her eyebrows as well.
Right. Same thing. Yeah, a little hot spot there.
Lovely natural light, my favorite.
Well, yeah. You know what? If I could choose to have natural light, beautiful natural light all the time, I would prefer that to having to actually light it. But the problem is, if you're a natural light photographer, you're a part-time photographer. You're only going to shoot when you do have great natural light and you happen to have the right angle.
That's
and
funny.
you're never going to shoot at night and on and on. So
Yeah.
it's like, and some people that get really, really good. I think Joe McNally is brilliant at using a flash and making it look like natural light.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move this thing so it doesn't look like it's going up her nose. This looks pretty good.
I do. I think so. I'm not seeing very much
Yeah.
that I would. I love the bone structure, and it's highlighted well. And again, in this image, you can see that other than the highlight on the bushes, which I would
Yeah,
go back
over
and forth
here,
about
yeah.
because it's pulling your eye away. Other than that, the brightest point of this image is going to be her cheekbones and her nose, which
You know
is
what, though?
exactly
Look how
where.
bright this is down here in her décolletage.
Ah,
Are you
ding, ding,
noticing
ding,
the
ding, ding.
décolletage? 5 points. That's a bright décolletage.
Well, what I was going to mention was the change in skin color.
Oh yeah, this is kind of
So it is a little bit
and that's
bright.
white.
It is, yeah. So you always have to kind of look at your model because sometimes if they're doing their own makeup, they may not know. So that would be the first thing I would do. I would darken it, but I would also, yeah, exactly, warm it up a little bit with a little yellow and pink, and that's going to make all of a sudden all of that skin on that model look cohesive, right?
I cohesified it. I made it darker, so I lowered the exposure a half a stop. I added a lot of pink in, and now let's go look at the. Let me turn off the overlay so you can see it before and after.
Yeah, look at that.
That's just a really quick, fix, but.
But it works. It kind of, her skin it lacked color on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
On those shoulders and the décolletage.
The décolletage area was quite concerning to me. Did you
And then
notice how
there's
décolletage?
that little branch there. I would just get rid of that
Oh
because
yeah,
it's
the
a little
branch has got to
distracting.
go. And this bright stuff over here isn't helping your case.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
at least he went to the shade. At least they went to the shade.
Yeah, they went to the shade, so that's like not a terribly bad thing. Let's see if we can pull that down a little bit over there.
So I found when you're doing that, another thing to do is to decrease the contrast as well, because it makes it just match the softer light, and then maybe adding a little bit of blue and green back into that area as well is going to just really make it totally match the rest of the.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, looks much better, and your eye doesn't get distracted and start looking at the ivy.
Look how bright that was. Look at that. We
cohesified it.
Can I tell you, I really like that you were right on the money about adding the blue and green. That's kind of what, and lowering the contrast. That really helped a lot.
Yeah, totally brings the
Right now,
viewer's
it's just
eye.
like that one thing
I
right
know.
there. If you can get
that
rid
would
of
be
this.
a perfect
Great.
example for your new class.
For my new class.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. So we'll look at the overall here. Here's the overall before and after. Letter P, I guess. There we go. So you're seeing the skin fix and then the background.
So not
fix.
really much. I think that this was an awesome way to end.
Not bad. All right, so we got a bunch of questions coming in. Eric Langley says, if you don't have Photoshop or Lightroom, what's the next photo editing program to use? Okay, Eric. Eric, I'm talking to you. Look at me, Eric.
It's called the makeup
Eric.
artist.
So the other day I was in Sacramento. And at lunch, I got a Reuben. They had a nice deli across the street. I got a Reuben, just a Reuben sandwich. A little bit of potato salad. Little Reuben, little potato. Jen's like, where is this going?
I don't know. I'm getting hungry though. So
No, I'm leading up to something. So my Reuben and my potato salad and a Diet Coke was $13. For $9.95, Eric, you can get Photoshop and Lightroom for $9.95 a month. It cost me more to have a Reuben one day for lunch than it does. Now, if you're a Kelby One member and you haven't already joined the Creative Cloud plan, you can get it for $7.99 a month, or what I call half a Reuben.
half a Reuben.
When people tell me like, oh, I don't want to, are you crapping me? It's like $9.09. You can't get a Reuben. You can get half a Reuben or $1,000 worth of pro software. People forget about this. Photoshop is professional level software.
Yeah.
It's not consumer software. you know how much Photoshop was before this? Eric, I couldn't look you in the face and go, Eric, you need to spend $799 for Photoshop.
Yeah, it was expensive.
That would be ridiculous to say that. It's $10, and if you're a Kelby One member, you can get it for $7.99 if you're just joining the program, if you're not already on the Creative Cloud. And there's all this other crap that comes with it too. But Eric, come on. Now, if you're just like, I don't have $9.95, baloney, or you're not a Reuben eater, go get Photoshop Fix for free on your iPad or your phone. It's honestly very, very good for the money. No, it's very, very good, period. It's really, really quite better. I like it better than Photoshop Touch, which is the actual kind of Photoshop version. Way better. It's actually pretty good. Michael Thomas asks, and this is for you, is creating actions and presets a must in retouching? Do you have to create actions and presets?
You'll love yourself a lot more if you do.
It'll just make you faster, but it is if speed isn't your issue, you don't have to have actions or presets.
But if you do something more than 5 times, you need to have an action for it.
Yeah, like in other words, if you want to do frequency separation, you'll do it a couple times, and the first thing you'll think is, I wish there was a button I could push that would do all this for me, because that's really what it does. These things don't do the retouching for you. All they do is they set you up to do the retouching, because there's no way it's going to look at that. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because some of the stuff like in Liquify and some of these things now that are doing face recognition.
Know.
So I'm going to take back that last sentence. Stephanie has a question
Ask
for Christy.
us again in 5 years.
Yeah,
right?
like self-driving cars. Okay, Christy, what about the fields of tiny acne that you find on a lot of people? Big honking zits are easy to spot, but what when you have a lot of tiny pimples? What do you do? Christy.
Oh my goodness.
Is it Benadryl?
It's
not Benadryl.
It's a Photoshop fix called Benadryl. No, I think that is going to be a situation either where you try and just get rid of it with frequency separation, and then maybe painting over with better texture from other areas. That would be the best bet for that, I think, because you're not going to sit there all day and dodge and burn each little area or each little blemish. So find a clean area of skin with a matching texture.
Yes.
Because don't pull off somebody's forehead and stick it on their chin or someplace else. Well, the chin might actually work, but a cheek or something, because when you look at someone's face, the skin texture is going all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not one big consistent. It's not like your arm where things are pretty much the same, or your chest or your décolletage.
I know.
Or the Judge Scalia. All right, look at that. Hey, McQuarrie from Nairobi, Kenya.
Hey!
Come on. Jackie Siver asks, does that discount work for Canadians or worldwide? Nothing works for Canadians. You know that. I'm just kidding. No, I love Canadians. I don't know if it does. I really have no idea. You have to follow the link and go to the website. Go to the Kelby One discounts page and follow the link. I would love it if it worked for. I would love it if it worked well. But you know what? There's all different pricing around the world for this stuff for all kinds of various reasons. Let's see what else we've got here. Alan Hess says, great episode. Christy is a great guest, and I'm not even a retoucher.
Yes.
There you go.
Alan, you rock.
Alan
Literally.
does rock. I know.
He does rock,
He does rock.
right?
He's a concert photographer. Dina asks the name of this program. We're actually using Photoshop, but we're using a part of Photoshop called Camera Raw. And I would say use Lightroom instead, just because it's easier for everything that we've done here. But if you really want to do serious retouching, Photoshop is the tool used around the world for serious retouching. John asks, what is the best way to adjust skin tones? And I do not like fake eyes, but what's a quick tip to brighten the eyes?
So doing that natural overall brightening is going to protect you from over whitening the eyes or inside the irises or anything like that. So that would be the tip on the eyes. And then what was the other question? He says, I don't like fake eyes. And the other one was best way to do adjust skin tones. Adjust skin tone. Well, it's the same kind of tip as the
hue and saturation?
Yeah, so hue and saturation is a good one. And then the other one that I would consider is using the selective color tool or adjustment brush adjustment layer in Photoshop. Allows you a lot of flexibility within the specific color check that tool out. It's fantastic.
Jim's asking, should you only be increasing the eye whites with a brush about half a stop or less? Is there a starting point, or is it just on a case-by-case basis?
So when we're looking at the eye in general, and this goes back to your concept of 3D versus 2D, your eyeball is a round, it's a round sphere.
Mine's actually flat, but go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. So when you're taking the sides of your eye whites and you're brightening the sides of the eye whites, what it does is it pulls them forward, giving the illusion of a flat eye and not a round eye. So I'm not necessarily as frustrated, or I don't necessarily hate as much when people just brighten the area right around the iris, but it's really taking that super, super bright white and pulling it all the way to the edges, which flattens the eyeball, which it's supposed to be a sphere. So if you can just keep that as your tip, don't necessarily brighten too much in the corners, but you can brighten around the iris to create contrast in that area.
There you go. Hey, we're going to take a short break. Before we do, I want to give you a website to go and check out. So Brad Moore, you guys know Uncle Braddy. So Brad has been putting some new stuff on his portfolio. He's been shooting a lot of really great stuff. So head over to bradsbeard.com. Actually, he registered bradsbeard.com because
I thought you said beer.
No, Brad's Beard. So go over to Be More Visuals. Well, and don't go there. Go bradsbeard.com. It's easy to remember. And he's got a lot of cool stuff over there. And he's got all, behind the scenes stuff and all. And he's been doing a lot of cool stuff. Also, make sure you follow Brad over on Instagram. His Instagram feed, I think, is like he's putting a lot of new stuff. I think it may be even though it's small. There we go. There's his Instagram feed. He's been putting some really good stuff up there. So he's living in Nashville, Tennessee, of all places. He loves Nashville, and it is a great town, getting better all the time. Last time I was there, I hardly recognized the place. It was so cool. And that's him shooting in an outdoor event. But
cool.
He's doing some really good stuff. If you get a chance to go check him out, Be More Visuals if you like the long way, but bradsbeard.com takes you to the same place. All right, we're taking a short break. When we come back, we got a few more to look at, and we're going to wrap things up in a minute. We have Kristina Sherk in the studio with us live. We'll be right back. Don't go away. There goes the...
Hey, I'm Larry, and I'd like to welcome you to a class we put together for the Nikon D500. We're going to cover shooting modes, image review, focus point control, and lots of other things that photographers need to control as a part of their shooting experience. So I put this class together like I'm talking to my friend. We want you to have an experience like a friend is walking you through your new D500 and most of the important stuff about it. Now, go take some pictures. Go capture some images.
Hey everybody, Roy Ashen here. I'd like to invite you to my Kelby 1 course called How to Supercharge Your Sales and Marketing with Music. We're going to look at examples from some of the world's top photographers. We're going to talk about specific tips and techniques on choosing the perfect music for every one of your projects, enhancing the emotion and impact. So I hope you'll join me for this course here on kelby1.com.
Hey, we're back. Scott Kelby here with Kristina Sherk, the Shark Pixel herself, and we are doing blind retouching techniques. Hey, if you get a chance, go to my blog today. Stefan Bollinger, who is a very, very good award-winning photographer over in Australia, is my guest blogger today, and he did a whole thing on dance photography. Look at the size of that print. Look at the size of that print. That's a big print. Anyway, he's got a very cool guest blog post today. If you get a chance, swing up on my blog. And if you're seeing this not on the day of the grid, of course, if you're watching this in replay, which most of you will be, that was Wednesday's guest blogger on the week of October. Today's Wednesday, October 26th. So if you're looking later, scroll back to the Wednesday. But he did a very, very good blog. He's got some interesting points as well as just really great pictures. So Spricer asks, do I ever come up to the frigid north? Yes, I do. I'm almost always going to Toronto and occasionally Vancouver as well. And I'm not very welcome in Canada, I will tell you that. I've had some really, the Canadian border guards, like the last time I was in Toronto, they locked me up and because they said I wasn't allowed to be there, but I was allowed to be there. And I showed them the rules in their own rule book of why I was allowed to be there. And they said, we're not interested in that. We're deporting you. And so it took a lot for me to actually get on stage. I literally walked on stage because they detained me. I walked on stage. As I walk in, Brad hands me a coffee, and I walk in and go, "Good morning, everybody." I had like 460 photographers there. And we were, I mean, it's like I'm supposed to go in at 10. At 9:58, I'm not there. It was bad. It was really, really bad. So I finally had to convince them, and it took but they were still, get out of town tonight. And I was like, but I'm allowed to stay here 5 days. You know what's weird? In the Canadian rule book, it says you're allowed to come in and work if you are, and it described exactly what I'm doing. You're going to a convention center or a hotel. You're going to speak at an event, and you will be leaving within 5 days of the event.
Oh, geez.
I'm reading it to them, and they're like, we don't care. We've determined you're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, but yeah, I'm showing them on my laptop, and they're like, we don't care.
Canada?
Oh, they were extremely mean.
Oh,
so
Canada.
Every time we go to Canada, it's a roll of the dice. It's really, and now I'm flagged. If I go in there and they say, like Brad, they go ahead, Mr. Moore. And what are you here for? Oh, you go to that room. And I'm in there trying to convince them again. So the last time I was there, I was just for a meeting. Just for a meeting. They wanted to know, well, are you selling something, or is someone selling something to you? They want to know what my meeting's about. I'm like, what do you think I'm doing up here?
I'm from Florida. I like the weather back down there.
Hey, I've been to communist countries, and they're like, thanks for coming. Great to have you here. You go to Canada, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know what it is with Canada. I don't get it. I've been to China numerous times. I've been to China before China was friendly. And they were like, they look at you mean, but they just let you in. I'd rather just look at me and let me in than take me to an interrogation room, put me to jail. All right, so that's why I haven't been to Canada a whole bunch. Hope you understand. Wow, they're mean. Mean. All right, so Paul asks, what is an action? So Paul, what an action is it literally is, picture a tape recorder inside of Photoshop. So if you do something that's a bunch of steps and it's repetitive, you can say, I'm going to do it one more time while it's recording my steps. And it will record your steps just as you do them, and then you hit play and it plays them back anytime you want. So if you did something that had you like adding multiple layers and doing this stuff and all this junk that you wind up doing again and again and again, not only will it do it for you, but it does it super fast.
Yeah.
It does it faster than you
done.
could ever possibly do it. Yeah, you blink and it's done.
The one thing that doesn't end up working well when it comes to actions is going to be anything that's kind of like mouse related. So
Yeah, if you move a
anything,
brush.
yeah, if you're going to use any of the brush tools or any of the selection tools, you want to stay away from those when
Yeah.
you're creating actions, because every image is different, and so it's a little bit hard for Photoshop to follow along. They may give you some errors and stuff.
Yeah, if you're in Kelby 1, we have classes on creating actions and all that kind of stuff. So head over there. But yeah. So hi, Jen. They're talking to you. Would you, Jen, or me be doing courses in the UK? Yeah, I go to the UK every year, Chris. So Chris Nicholson, I go to the UK every year and do a class, and it is one of the absolute highlights of my whole year. I have so much fun, and the crowds are so great and so appreciative and gracious over there. And so, yeah, I hope to be there again next year. Mark Rodriguez says, Photoshop World rocks. I've learned so much at them. Can I tell you something?
Too.
Mark Rodriguez, I don't know if you know Mark, is one of the most talented Photoshop people you will ever meet in your entire life. And if he learns something at Photoshop World, that's about the best thing you could. He is just,
if I'm thinking of the right person,
you're thinking of the right person.
He is phenomenal.
That's him. He's creepy.
Oh,
his
yeah,
stuff is very,
super
his stuff is
creepy.
very like it gives you nightmares, but you're like, wow, that's so good. I won't be able to sleep for a week. Mm-hmm. But his stuff is amazing. He doesn't just do that kind of stuff. But anyway, he's an
super
amazing
cool.
artist.
Super cool stuff.
All right, and so any fast tip if the light skin looks kind of gray and dull, so it doesn't look healthy?
Yeah, absolutely. So you've basically already diagnosed the problem, right? It's light skin and it looks gray. So your answer is adding color back into it. So you would use a hue saturation layer, or you could even use, a layer on, basically a layer filled with a specific skin color, and then you would play around with the blend modes of that layer to see what looks most natural. Try soft light, try overlay. Try color blend mode.
Try
One
color.
of those blend modes, or luminosity is another one. You could try any of those blend modes and see if it looks natural. But honestly, once you've diagnosed the problem, fixing it is very, very easy. So just adding color, adding saturation back into that skin.
All right. Hey, MNSSHP asked, are there any career guidance or portfolio reviews at Photoshop World 2? There's actually one-on-one portfolio reviews. You can go and get your portfolio review by like the best people in the industry. We do charge for it. We didn't used to. It used to be just completely free. And you know what happened? People go, oh, it's free, and if I don't show up, it's no big deal. You charge just a little bit of money, 100% participation. Everybody shows up. That's why we don't charge very much. We charge like nothing, because you can pay like $400 for a one-on-one review. We charge like next to nothing, but it makes people show up.
And guess what else shows up in your classes sometimes when you're teaching in a Zen class and all of a sudden somebody shark bombs.
All right,
your
so I got to
class.
tell you a quick story. So at Photoshop World, we do this thing called Midnight Madness, and it's just for fun. It's no teaching or no anything. But it was Christy's first time at Photoshop World, so we wanted to play a prank on her. So we said, hey, look.
Photoshop hazing.
It was Photoshop World hazing. So we said, look, at Midnight Madness, we want you to come up and do like a quick retouching tip, something cute, something fun, because it's Midnight Madness. She's like, sure. So she creates this whole thing. Well, right before she's going to go on stage, you know, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. My sneaky wife and a couple of other girls go, hey, we're going to go to the restroom. You want to come with us? Let's go outside. So they go outside, and we brief the class. When Christy comes up and starts doing her thing, we got groups of people to do things to distract her while she's doing her tip. We had people throwing tiny little sharks, like foam sharks. We had people with snapping shark heads that were like snapping at her while she's doing, the long ones on a stick. And then finally we had Left Shark come in and dance. So we had music going on. What else did we do? We put a plexiglass window in front of her and people are drawing on it. We had fans blowing. We had all this crazy crap going on. And you were such a good sport. She was a really good sport, because she's like, what is going on? And all this mayhem is happening.
I'm just glad they gave me safety goggles.
Yeah,
right?
we did give her safety goggles
on me
because
so I didn't
we were throwing
ruin my
little.
eyes.
We had like 100 miniature sharks.
Oh, I have them all at my house.
They were stuffed, and we're like, people are like, the whole audience is like throwing them. It was a blast. Anyway, it was just a total calamity. So later, one of the things we have at Photoshop World is called a Photoshop World Lab. And so the lab is you bring your laptop, you bring the typical kind of images that you would use, and you spend an hour in just working on your stuff. And
which quickly is one of the most beneficial things that you can do if you're at a trade show like this. And this comes from personal experience, because I used to be a digital lab tech in college when I was majoring in Photoshop. Well, joking, you know, majoring in Photoshop. So yeah, in quotations. So because you're there, you're able to go through all of the things that you would be doing at home, but when you run into that roadblock at home and you can't get any further, that's when you call over an expert. That's when you say, hey, I'm stuck here. What do I do next? And that just being there and having that benefit is going to help you tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so back to the story.
So I host one on retouching. So if you're working and you raise your hand, I come and sit with you, and you go, well, here's an image I'm working on, and I'm having this problem with the eyes or the skin or whatever. And so now I keep it real zen-like. I play like real nice. I lower the lights, and I play like acoustic guitar music in the background. It's really a nice vibe.
It was.
And
it was
it's
very
super
nice.
quiet, and I'm sitting with everybody. We've got a really good group of people. There's probably 20, 25 people. It's very small, right? We limit it to a small number so you can actually get to talk with everybody. So I'm sitting with someone working on it, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose in my class. Christy comes in.
I found the shark costume.
She found the shark costume. She's wearing the shark, and it's just all of a sudden the whole room explodes with stuff and noise and all. And I know what's going on. She's getting me back. The rest of the people are like, why is this happening? What's going on?
I
Everybody looks
literally
confused.
shark bombed
I just started
the
laughing.
entire
I'm like,
class.
I cannot believe this is happening. So it was the equivalent of having a shark bomb.
Shark bomb.
Picture
Hashtag
like a spa, a spa-like experience.
Yeah,
All right.
that was fun.
Hey, look at that. Orbital socks is Chris is putting hashtag orbital sockets
Orbital sockets.
on
Sweet.
social media. Also, don't forget hashtag Judge Scalia eyes.
Yep.
And what was the other one? Decolletage. Word of the month. All right. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, look, that Peter. Hey, Peter. says, hey, I watched your on location class on Lexar's Facebook page. It was fun. Should have been there in person, Peter. Number one, you would have had fun. Number two, there's no way for you to see how crowded the High Line actually was. Yeah. It was packed in there. Like Friday at 5 o'clock is probably not the best time to do a photo walk on the High Line. Just saying. But we had a great crowd. We had so many great people. Bill Way today says, by the way, a recent poll of Border Patrol officers concluded that 0.4% of them have a sense of humor. I met those folks. They were mean to me. Anyway, so we're really about out of time. Let's take a look at a couple now. Here's what you get. You can't go in detail. We're going to do like the lightning round, which is what we do always at the end.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to look and say, okay, do this, do that, boom, and we're done. So here we got 3 shots. That looks like something from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Because they're always a little dirty in that show. Because, you know, they don't like have sinks and stuff. Okay. All right, so here we go.
I really like that. I'm going to give one critique on each of these. The first thing would be the camera left hand, just darkening that side a little bit is going to really bring the eye,
darkening
the viewer's
this
eye.
size.
Yeah,
right.
Just darken that hand a little bit. It's really going to shape that light, and it's going to make you go immediately to that eye and that cheek, which is gorgeous. So the highlight behind him is a bit distracting. I think if that were gone, even though the crop is a little tight for my liking, I think that it would really be a nice, striking image it's a beautiful image. I love this. Is it sand or dirt or something?
It's something.
Anyway, this is gorgeous. I love the film noir look. Joe McNally is putting out a huge thing on his Instagram every day, doing a new film noir image in a campaign. Beautiful stuff.
How do you like her décolletage?
Yeah, looks
What
good.
about her Scalia?
Looks good, yeah, not bad. There's one that's a little bit white, bright.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's probably because of the light. I think it's a little bit natural.
Okay. All right, that's pretty good.
There
Let's
you
look
go.
at another one quick. That was a good quick, because in 8 minutes they cut our feed. So we simulcast to Facebook. So we're of course at kelbytv.com/thegrid, which many of you are watching and commenting. But we also simulcast now to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/askelby. And after 90 minutes they cut us off. So we're about to be done. So here we go. Here's 3 pictures. 1, 2. And 3.
All right, cool.
Can I ask you a question about this? What do you do about these little rolls of it's not skin, it is dress? Do you leave those, take them out? What do you do?
Yeah, I think you leave them.
You leave them?
I would get rid of the big splotch in the middle. Other than that,
Where's the big splotch? Oh, right here?
right?
This whole area is splotchy?
No, it's just this
Oh, right
one
there.
little.
Yeah.
It looks like a stain on the dress. So I would
Yeah.
get rid of that, but I would leave those wrinkles a little bit. That's basically what I was doing all last week, is getting rid of those wrinkles.
Yeah.
I really like the light shaping that was done on this image. I think that it's beautifully done. It really brings the viewer's eye right to the face. The legs are a little bit yellow, and the face and arm, the camera right arm are a little bit pink. So just pick one and keep it consistent. Not saying tone has to be consistent, but color has to be consistent.
You know what I'm thinking here? Take a look. What if you put an oval right here? It looks like they maybe put an oval and then darkened like the outside. That's why her legs are. Because look, you can see it here.
Yep.
This goes from her skin tone down to warm.
Yeah.
To warm, and then same thing here. So I'm thinking they put an oval and darken the outside, and that's why this looks dark.
Yeah, or almost like the vignette has a little bit of a warm tone to it. I think that this is a little bit highly saturated. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally.
This would be a suggestion for a monitor calibrator, because if the first thing is to train your eye on what's good, right?
Right.
But then the second thing is, if you're looking at something on a monitor and you think that it looks great, and then you send it to somebody else and all of a sudden it looks nothing like it looked on your monitor, that's going to be the time when you need to invest in educating yourself about monitor calibration and getting something that's going to work for that.
All right, we're about out of time. So Christy, where can people learn more about you?
People can go to sharkpixel.com if they want to.
Sharkpixel.com. There it is right there.
Yep.
Sharkpixel.
And then what you can do, which is super fun, is you can scroll on the images and see the before and after. So that's super fun.
It's super fun. That's a trademark image of yours right there.
think
Like
so.
when I see that, I'm like, that's Christy.
Yeah, this was, and this was really fun, and just me playing around and being creative with blend modes. All of that color was added, so high five to blend modes.
High five to blend modes. All right. And tomorrow you're taping a class here on retouching in Lightroom. So I know we had some questions today about Lightroom. So we'll let you know as soon as her class is ready, but she's taping it tomorrow.
Get excited.
Yay, it's going to be awesome. All right, we have some giveaways today. We're giving away 2 books. We're giving away How Do I Do That in Photoshop, an awesome new book from one of my favorite authors. And this one, I like this one even better. Professional Portrait Retouching Techniques for Photographers Using Photoshop. It's the longest name of any book ever. Well, they had to have that in there for searchability reasons, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but we're going to give away both of those. Go to kelby1.com/webcast/ or dash contest. Sorry. So it's kelby1.com/webcast-contest. And tell us which one of the 2 books you want, because we're not going to just pick one at random. You get to choose, hey, this is the one I want. So go ahead and do that, and thank you very much for that. And where can they follow you online besides going to your website? You're on...
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. What's that?
Where can they see your mermaid stuff? Can we see?
Yes,
Can
absolutely.
you show us?
If mermaids are your thing, and they're not everybody's.
But your computer isn't probably connected, so we'll...
Oh, it is.
Is
just
it?
wait.
Is it? Oh, wow, it is. Shows you what I know.
Here's the mermaid feed. All right.
Is that a merman? Is that a merman?
This was the captain and dive master of our boat in the Bahamas.
I thought I was
huge sports, and they put on the tails.
I thought I was the only
swam
merman.
around. Oh, we'll make you a merman.
I was
That's
a
gonna
merman.
happen. But it's super cool. It's super fun and creative, and there's a contest going on, which is going to be benefiting the Florida Springs and the health of and the protection of the Florida Springs. So,
all right,
super cool.
All right, that's on your Instagram page.
Yeah.
And your Instagram is Shark Pixel?
Shark_Pixel for the Photoshop stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, thank you all for watching. Thanks to all of our viewers all around the world. We are very glad that you joined us today. We'll be back, next week, next Wednesday, if I'm in town or something. I've been traveling a lot lately, but I think I'm in town for a few weeks. Got a game this Sunday. I don't know what else.
Just all over the place.
I want to be just home. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. You can catch me on Instagram or Twitter or any of those places, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.